Lean in, because what I am about to say in the next few minutes might be the most honest thing your ears have heard in a very long time. I need you to stop everything right now. I need you to silence the noise in your mind, disconnect from the distractions around you, and give me your complete, undivided attention. Because what I am about to walk you through is not another motivational speech filled with empty phrases and recycled cliches designed to make you feel good for 40 minutes and then disappear by morning. No, what I am about to share with you has the potential to permanently change the direction of your life. But only if you are brave enough to hear it fully, honest enough to apply it personally, and strong enough to act on it immediately. Here is the conversation nobody wants to have. Here is the truth that gets buried under highlight reels, filtered photographs, and carefully curated success stories. Here is the reality that most motivational content skips past because it is uncomfortable, confrontational, and deeply personal. Everybody wants success, but nobody wants to die. And until you understand what that means, truly, deeply, in your bones, you will keep chasing success and never catching it. You will keep starting and stopping. You will keep dreaming and delaying. You will keep watching other people live the life you know belongs to you. And you will keep wondering why the gap between where you are and where you want to be refuses to close. So stay with me, because by the time we reach the other side of this conversation, you will never look at your dreams, your daily choices, or your own potential the same way again. Let me ask you something, and I need you to answer honestly. Not to me, but to yourself, which is the only place where honest answers actually matter. How long have you been wanting it? How long have you been carrying that dream around? How long has that vision been living inside your chest, keeping you awake at night, showing up uninvited in your quiet moments, reminding you that there is a version of your life that is dramatically different from the one you are currently living? 1 year, 5 years, 10, 20, and in all that time, in all those years of wanting, wishing, planning, and declaring, where are you? Are you closer? Are you living it? Or are you standing in almost the exact same place, looking at the same gap, having the same private conversations with yourself about what you are going to do differently this time? I am not asking to embarrass you. I am asking because that answer contains the most important information of your life. And most people are so skilled at avoiding that answer that they have developed entire systems of distraction, entertainment, busyness, social media consumption, constant noise, anything to avoid sitting in the silence where that honest answer lives. Here is what I know. You want success. I know you do. With everything inside of you, you want it. You want financial freedom. You want to wake up in the morning with purpose burning in your chest instead of dread sitting in your stomach. You want to look in the mirror and see someone who is becoming, someone who is building, someone who is moving with intention towards something magnificent. You want to provide for the people you love in ways that currently feel impossible. You want to stand somewhere in your future and look back at this moment and say, I did it. Against everything, I actually did it. You want all of that. But here is the question that separates the people who get it from the people who only ever want it. What are you willing to die for? Not literally, but metaphorically. And metaphorically matters just as much, because the dying I'm talking about is real. It is felt in the body. It is resisted by every comfortable part of your mind. It costs you things you love, habits you enjoy, people you are comfortable with, and versions of yourself that feel familiar and safe. The dying I'm talking about is the death of who you currently are, so that who you need to become can finally be born. See, we have been sold a version of success that is fundamentally dishonest. We have been shown the arrival without the journey. We have been shown the celebration without the sacrifice. We have been shown the harvest without anyone ever walking us through the brutal, unglamorous, deeply painful process of preparing the soil, planting the seed, and wading through seasons of nothing visible while everything essential is happening underground. And because of that, we have developed this unconscious belief that success is a comfortable process, that it is something you pursue while keeping everything else in your life exactly the way it is, that it is something you add to your existing life rather than something you build an entirely new life to accommodate. That belief is destroying you. Success is not an addition. It is a complete reconstruction. Think about the people you admire most, the ones who have built something real, the ones who have achieved at a level that makes you say, I want that. If you could pull back the curtain on their journey, if you could see the full unedited version of what it actually cost them, you would not see a glamorous story. You would see someone who chose to die 100 times on the way to becoming. You would see someone who chose the pain of discipline over the pleasure of comfort every single day, not when they felt motivated, not when the conditions were perfect, not when the people around them understood. Every day, regardless, you would see someone who allowed relationships to fall away that could not survive the altitude they were climbing toward. You would see someone who sat alone in spaces that felt terrifying building something that made no sense to anyone around them, trusting a vision that existed only in their own mind, you would see someone who failed publicly, repeatedly, and continued anyway. Not because failure did not hurt, but because they had decided that the pain of quitting would hurt infinitely more. That is what success actually looks like before it looks like success. And here is where I need to be direct with you, because this is the moment where most people's eyes glaze over. This is the moment where people nod their heads in emotional agreement, feel inspired for a few hours, and then return to the exact same behaviors that have been producing the exact same results. The reason most people never achieve what they are capable of achieving is not that they lack talent. It is not that the world is unfair, though sometimes it is. It is not that they were born without the right advantages, though circumstances are real. The primary reason is this: they want the success, but they are not willing to die for it. They want the body, but they are not willing to kill the habit of choosing comfort over movement. They want the business, but they are not willing to kill the mindset that demands security before action. They want the relationship, but they are not willing to kill the version of themselves that keeps recreating the same toxic patterns. They want financial freedom, but they are not willing to kill the spending habits that are keeping them financially enslaved. Everybody wants the resurrection. Nobody wants the crucifixion, but you cannot have one without the other. That is not a philosophy. That is a law. It is as consistent and non-negotiable as gravity, and no amount of wishing, positive thinking, or emotional intensity will override it. I need you to understand something about the life you are living right now. The comfortable parts, the familiar routines, the manageable mediocrity that you have made peace with. That version of your life is not neutral. It is not simply the absence of greatness. It is actively, aggressively working against your future, because every day you spend maintaining a life that is beneath your potential is the day you spend reinforcing the belief that this is what you deserve. And eventually the gap between who you are and who you are meant to become gets so wide that crossing it begins to feel impossible. That is not a future you can afford to drift into. Let me tell you what the successful version of your life actually requires. It requires you to become a student of your own patterns, to sit in the uncomfortable silence and ask yourself, what am I consistently choosing that is keeping me exactly where I am? What fear am I constantly obeying? What comfort am I consistently choosing over what is right? What conversation am I avoiding that my future needs me to have? What version of myself am I protecting that my destiny needs me to release? Those questions are not comfortable. Those questions feel like surgery without anesthesia. But those questions, honestly answered and courageously acted upon, are the exact mechanism through which ordinary lives become extraordinary ones. You must also understand that the environment you are living inside of is doing something to you, whether you are aware of it or not. The people you spend your most significant hours with, the conversations you are regularly participating in, the information you are consistently absorbing, all of it is programming you. All of it is setting the ceiling of what you believe is possible for your life. If everyone around you is comfortable with average, you will fight a silent, exhausting war every day simply to maintain the desire for more. The people closest to you do not have to be malicious to be dangerous. They simply have to be comfortable with a level that your destiny cannot afford to settle at. You may need to have the most difficult conversations of your life with the people you love, not to abandon them, but to be honest that you are changing, that you are reaching, that you are becoming someone they have not met yet, and that you need the space and the permission. Even if they cannot give it, you must take it. To die to who you were and be born into who you are called to become. This is the part where people disappear. This is the part that separates the ones who achieve from the ones who remain permanently inspired but perpetually stagnant. Because transformation is lonely. Let nobody tell you otherwise. The process of becoming a different person in a world full of people who knew the old version of you is one of the most isolating experiences a human being can walk through. There will be moments when the new version of you has not yet fully formed, and the old version of you has already been released, and you will stand in this terrifying space between who you were and who you are becoming. And in that space, everything will feel unstable, everything will feel uncertain, and every voice around you will suggest that you go back. Do not go back. That feeling is not failure. That feeling is the exact sensation of transformation. That is what it feels like to shed a version of yourself that could not carry you where you are going. That disorientation is the cost of evolution, and it is worth every uncomfortable second. You want to know what death and success have in common? Both of them require you to leave something behind permanently. When you die physically, you leave your body behind. When you die to who you currently are, to your excuses, your limitations, your comfortable mediocrity, your fear-driven decisions, you leave that version of yourself behind permanently. And just like physical death transforms the experience of the person who undergoes it, this metaphorical death transforms you into someone fundamentally, irreversibly different. Someone capable, someone disciplined, someone who no longer needs external circumstances to align before they move. Someone who has learned to be the condition rather than to wait for conditions. That is the person success responds to, not the person who wishes for it with great intensity on a Sunday evening and then sleeps through their alarm on Monday morning. Not the person who has magnificent dreams but makes ordinary daily choices. Not the person who is waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect resource, the perfect sign. Because none of those things are coming before you do. Success comes after you come, after you decide, after you show up, after you do the work that nobody will ever see and receive no applause for. After you keep the promise you made to yourself, even on the nights when everything in you wants to break it. Everybody wants success, but the ones who get it are the ones who are willing to do something that the majority of people refuse to do. They were willing to die. They were willing to release comfort. They were willing to abandon familiarity. They were willing to walk away from what was manageable in pursuit of what was meaningful. They were willing to look strange, to feel alone, to be misunderstood, to fail and continue, to bleed quietly and show up anyway. They chose the right pain over the easy pain. They chose to be temporarily uncomfortable rather than permanently unfulfilled. They chose to die to who they were so they could live as who they were always meant to become. And now I am asking you, not next month, not when the conditions improve, not when you feel ready, because you will never feel ready, right now, today, in this moment, are you willing to die? Because if you are, if you genuinely, completely, with full awareness of the cost and full commitment to the process, decide that you are willing, then everything changes. Not gradually, not eventually. Now, the moment you make peace with the death of who you currently are, you begin the life you were always destined to live. The question was never whether you wanted success. The question has always been, how badly do you want to live? We have traveled somewhere significant together today. We have moved through uncomfortable truths, confronted invisible enemies, and arrived at the most important crossroads you will ever stand at. The intersection between the life you have been living and the life you have the capacity to build. Success is not a lottery. It is not luck dressed in a business suit. It is not reserved for people who are born into better circumstances, blessed with superior talent, or positioned more favorably by fate. Success is the inevitable outcome of a specific process, a process that begins with a death and ends with a becoming. Sacrifice is not punishment. It is the price of admission into the life you are dreaming about. And that price is non-negotiable. The pain you avoid today does not disappear. It transforms into the prison that holds your future hostage. Dreaming without doing is the most seductive form of self-deception available to human beings. It feels like progress while producing nothing. Your environment is not a passive backdrop to your life. It is an active force shaping your beliefs, your standards, and ultimately your results. The version of you that succeeds has already died several times, has released comfort, released familiarity, released the permission of others, and stepped into the terrifying and necessary space of transformation. And success is not a reward for wanting. It is a response to becoming. And becoming is a daily, deliberate, courageous choice. All of these truths live inside one question that I leave with you permanently. Are you willing to die so that you can truly live? Not someday, not when the circumstances cooperate, not when fear gives you permission, because fear will never give you permission. Today, right now, with whatever resources you have from wherever you are standing, with full knowledge that the road will be hard and the process will be painful and the outcome will be worth every single piece of it. You have been carrying this dream long enough without acting on it. You have been inspired enough times without letting that inspiration become transformation. Today, let something different happen. Not a temporary emotional high that fades by nightfall. A permanent decision that rewires the direction of your life. Die to the excuses. Die to the delays. Die to the comfort that has been quietly stealing your potential for years. Die to the fear that has been sitting in the driver's seat of your destiny. Die to the old version of yourself that was never capable of carrying what you are called to build, and rise as someone who the world has not met yet, as someone your family will celebrate, as someone your future self will thank with tears of deep, hard-earned gratitude. The life you want is real. The person you must become to live it is possible. And the journey between here and there begins with one decision made with everything you have, honored with everything you do. Make that decision today. The question was never whether you wanted success. The question has always been how badly you want to live. And I believe with everything in me that you want it badly enough. I believe that something inside you that has been quiet for too long is waking up right now. I believe that the version of you that the world is waiting for is closer than you think. But that version is on the other side of a death that only you can choose. So choose it. Thank you. From the deepest part of my heart, thank you for staying, thank you for listening, and most importantly, thank you for being honest enough with yourself to sit with these truths rather than running from them. That alone tells me something powerful about who you are and what you are capable of becoming. The world needs what is inside of you. Do not let it die with you. Let it live through you. Go build the life you deserve. Go become the person you were always meant to be, and carry this one truth with you everywhere you go from this moment forward. You were not born to be comfortable. You were born to be great. Now go prove it. Good luck. And may every sacrifice you make, every death you choose, every uncomfortable step you take forward bring you closer to the extraordinary life that has been waiting for you all along. You have everything you need. The only question remaining is whether you will use it. God bless you. Now go.